Hey guys, Monochrome here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Genuinely good to have you. About 4 months ago, I made a video titled Top 5 Biggest Prepping Mistakes Made by Groups. Well, since then, I've realized, there's another 5 we need to cover. So I'm going to call this Part 2. In no particular order, number 5, not having a seed stockpile. Seeds are sold in very thin packets. They're inexpensive. They're very easy to stockpile, and you're going to need them. Now, it doesn't matter if your prepping group doesn't have a farmer or gardener in it. Now, that's not because anyone can plant seeds and grow food. No. You need the right technique. That comes from trial and error. That comes from experience. Although if you're a farmer and you were born into that lifestyle, well, you know what you're doing. So here's the thing. Your group doesn't have a farmer or very experienced gardener in it. Go out, find someone like that. In the meantime, while you're doing that, or your entire group is doing that, stockpile seeds. Seeds are food. You're going to need them. You're also going to need someone who is extremely experienced with a ton of knowledge on farming, on gardening. You can't just throw some seeds on the ground, cover it in dirt, throw some water on it, and expect food to grow in a few weeks. It doesn't work that way. So, while you're out there searching for a farmer, you can easily stockpile seeds. And when your group finally finds a farmer, it's like, hey, welcome to our group. Here's a whole bunch of seeds. We have no clue how to grow food. You do. So, thanks for helping us. But definitely stockpile seeds. I don't care if you don't have a farmer in your group now. Try to find one. In the meantime, seeds, lots of it. They don't take up a lot of space. Number 4, and I've seen this circulating in the prepping community, and it's the most ridiculous thing when you stop and really think about it. You have so-called experts telling people, hey, you need to stockpile foreign currency, especially paper money from other countries. So number 4 is going to be assuming others will accept alternative forms of money. Now, I'm not talking about junk coins from other nations where knowledgeable people in the prepping community, they're going to be like, oh, hey, that has 95% silver in it. Yes, I'm willing to exchange that. No, I'm talking about this ridiculous belief that, for example, people will accept British pound notes, British paper currency. They won't. Well, unless you're in Britain, yeah, absolutely. But foreign currency, no. Americans will not accept foreign paper money. They won't. Think about it. Things are relatively good in America right now, economically. Can you go to the local supermarket with a giant wad of British pound notes and pay for food? No. Guess what? No one's going to accept foreign paper money with zero intrinsic value if there's a national disaster. Not going to happen. But you have some of these so-called financial experts saying, yeah, do this, it's a great idea. No, it's a stupid idea. No one in America is going to accept paper foreign currency unless they're looking for something to wipe their backside with. So, yeah. Number 3, and this is going to be controversial. Not stockpiling different types of contraceptives. Look, a lot of prepper groups are made up of different families. When electronic devices no longer work, when people get bored, let's face it, we know what happens. The thing is, though, it's one thing if a husband plants his seed into his wife. Whole other story if you've got a prepper group made up of different families and you've got teenagers in your group from different families. I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Last thing you want is a teenage boy from one family impregnating a teenage girl from another family, and both of those families are part of your prepper group. Oh, wow. That is going to destroy the group. Absolutely. And let's face it, even if your group is based on religion, come on, time to be realistic. Teenagers get bored, teenagers have raging hormones, and stuff happens. So if young Becky gets pregnant by young Justin from another family, both part of your group, oh wow. Yeah, the brown stuff is going to hit the fan. Things are going to get really bad for the group. So realistically, you got to take a realistic, pragmatic approach. Stockpile different types of contraceptives. And there's another danger. I mean, a woman who's married and gets pregnant by her husband, well, she has experience giving birth to children. Young Becky doesn't. And if there is any sort of complication and you don't have a doctor or midwife in your group, one small complication, Becky might not survive. And then things are really going to get horrifically bad for the group. So yeah, number 3, make sure you're stockpiling contraceptives. Very, very important. Number 2, not prepping for certain emergencies. And I'll give you guys a perfect example. Perhaps you've decided that the best place for your retreat, your survival shelter, is in upstate New York or Buffalo, New York. You get there in the summertime, everything's good, no issues, no problems. Winter hits. Yeah, give you one guess where some of the worst winter storms usually hit America. Congratulations if you said Buffalo, New York. And just yesterday, as of the making of this video, the New York Post reported from one of the biggest blizzards to ever hit Buffalo, New York. Drivers completely snowed in, stranded in their cars, and the current body count is 28 people dead due to the blizzard in upstate New York. 28 people dead. And I'm assuming that a good chunk of that 28 has lived in Buffalo, New York for many long years, and they know how to deal with winter conditions. And there's your group up there. You didn't plan for winter, or you did a poor job planning for it. Well, okay, everyone has a coat, a hat, and gloves. What else did you bring with you? Yeah, there are going to be holes in your preps that you need to fill. Because you might have all the food in the world, you might have a doctor, mechanic, farmer. Yeah. What good is all that if all of you end up freezing to death? I mean, I don't care how good a farmer is, he can't plant seeds in frozen over ground. Hey, the ground's completely frozen over. What do we do, farmer? I have no clue. Yeah. Don't care how good of a farmer you are, you're not planting anything in ground that's completely frozen over. So make sure you take care of that. Make sure you're not in a situation where you didn't prep for certain types of emergencies. Weather, that's just one type. All right, and the last one, not having a long-term plan for self-sufficiency. And oh my goodness, it's amazing how many people in the prepping community have these delusions of, well, America is going to completely fall apart. It's never going to be the same again. Good thing I've got my bug out bag. Good thing I've got a year's worth of food and supplies at my retreat. I've got my bug out vehicle all set up properly. It's 4-wheel drive. I've got snow tires. I've got winter tires. I've got all sorts of tools in the back of the truck. I'm good. Yeah, you're good for a year. You're good for a year. What are you going to do if you're prepping for a national emergency that lasts 5 years, 10, 15, 30, the rest of your life, which in fairness might be about 6 months after that first year? Let me tell you something, folks. The one group of people in America who will survive a national disaster that lasts 30 years or longer, the Amish, because they're not reliant on technology. They do things the old-fashioned way. I mean, if someone sets off an EMP just above Kansas, knocks out power to the entire country, the grid goes down, and it's not going to come up in a few days, folks. It's not going to matter to the Amish. And yes, there are a lot of Amish people who screw around with modern day technology. I mean, in some Amish groups, maybe in all of them, obviously Amish people are not allowed to drive cars. But if you're rich enough, you can actually hire someone who owns a car and have them work for you as your personal driver and drive you around in their car wherever you need to go. And that's considered perfectly okay. Now, like I said, I'm not sure if that's every Amish settlement. I know that's true in some of them. I mean, seriously, you can hire someone who has their own car and you hire them as your personal driver, and you get to sit in the back of the car and they get to drive you everywhere, and that's considered acceptable? I don't know about that. I mean, yes, it is considered acceptable in some Amish communities. It really shouldn't be. But for the most part, the average Amish person, yeah, horse and buggy, their alarm clock is a rooster. And as far as doing things during daylight hours, that's why they wake up while it's still dark out. Sun comes up, they get their work done. Sun goes down, okay, time to go to sleep and repeat the process all over again. Now, I'm not saying you need to join an Amish community. And quite frankly, if you don't fluently speak Dutch, good luck with that. No, you don't need to join an Amish community. You don't need to be Amish, but seriously, you need to have a long-term plan for self-sufficiency. If you're genuinely expecting a situation where everything goes belly up and it stays that way for a good long time. The Amish, they've got livestock, they've got farms, they've got a very close-knit community. They're going to be okay. And it's not a bad idea to take a look at some of their practices to figure out what your long-term plan is going to be. They're going to be fine. The rest of us, not so much, unfortunately. Be realistic. Guys, I hope you liked this video. I'll see you soon. Please, please, please continue to stay safe out there, because unfortunately, it is still dangerous. Take care.